Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Maxine. I have Avoidant Personality Disorder and ADHD. And today I want to talk about learned helplessness, which is a brand new term to me. I just learned about this yesterday, even though I've sort of been dancing around and coming to this concept over the last several videos. I just found out that this was an actual written term. So I'm gonna start out by just telling you what it is, in case you're unfamiliar. So in psychology, learned helplessness is a state that occurs after a person has experienced a stressful situation repeatedly. They believe that they are unable to control or change the situation, so they do not try, even when the opportunities for change are available. And here's the thing. For some people, labels and buzzwords and even diagnoses are just not that important to them. And that's fine if that's how you feel, but like I touched on in my original Avoidant Personality Disorder video, to me, finding that diagnosis or learning about terms like pathological demand avoidance or rejection sensitivity dysphoria, these are things that were incredibly helpful for me for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's able to take these very sort of abstract concepts and feelings and behaviors that are all mixed together within me and sort of neatly separate and categorize them. And more importantly, it makes me able to learn more about and understand where these behaviors are coming from. And also, it shows me that this is a widespread enough issue for people to know about and name it. I think a lot of us, especially people who are very avoidant, and don't talk to others about their feelings, or maybe don't seek therapy or don't have access to therapy, we think that a lot of our problems are unique to us. We think that we are uniquely broken and especially damaged people. So learning about things like this helps me to understand even more that this is a thing. This is a thing that people deal with. This is a thing that people experience, and that people are aware of, and that I can be aware of. And so I don't have really much to add to this, but I wanted to bring it up because although many of you in the comments are miles ahead of me in your journeys to getting better, some of you aren't. Some of you are still really, really struggling to even figure out where to go from here. You feel like your life has been so bad and so out of your control for so long that there's absolutely no hope. And, my response to that has been that unfortunately, no amount of counseling or advice or, tips are going to help you if you've already decided that they're not going to help you. You have to be receptive to these ideas. And now I can point to this concept and say, you feel this way because it's the learned helplessness in you. And now I know that that's what I've been dealing with over these last many years, feeling like my life would never get better unless somebody else came and made it better for me, because there's absolutely nothing I can do for myself. And of course, I've been trying to mentally break out of that for the last month or so, few weeks. And so I just thought it was very interesting that I happened upon this concept yesterday. So besides just being aware of this as a concept, what can you do beyond the general confidence building advice that I already gave you in another video? Well, there's one little thing that I read that I want to share. And it's that if helplessness can be learned, then so can optimism. There's learned optimism. And stay with me for a second. Of course, you can't just change your whole thought process overnight. Obviously, I understand that's my whole thing, is that I'm taking the tiniest, babyest steps ever to get better in this process. But the concept of learned optimism is that basically you can argue with your thoughts, okay? And for somebody like me who is very avoidant with those people in their life, but also kind of, because of the ADHD, maybe loves to argue with people that are rude and mean and bullies. When you've been bullied, right, then most of us have compassion, maybe extra compassion for the underdog. And we want to stick up for those people. We want to tell those bullies to F off. And, I mentioned this at the very tail end of, I think, my confidence video, but the voice in your head is not you, okay? It's other people's voices, throughout the course of your life. They accumulate and you appropriate these things that you hear from others. And if you can identify that, become aware of this learned helplessness, become aware of the fact that this voice in your head is not you, it's other people, then when it's being mean or rude or discouraging you from trying, then you can argue with it. You can fight back, and it's not necessarily going to change overnight, but if you practice arguing with this voice in your head, you have to know cognitively, you have to accept the knowledge that you are not helpless. This is learned helplessness. It's not actual helplessness, okay? You have to accept that and then stick up for yourself in your mind, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. And through that process, eventually, your learned helplessness will become unlearned. You don't necessarily have to learn to be the most optimistic person ever, but it's the difference between, the example that I read while I was looking at this yesterday, is that go back to being in school. You're in high school and you've failed a couple of tests for this one class, okay? And now you have another test coming up. There are a couple different ways that you can approach that situation. If you've learned helplessness from failing the tests before, then you're going to go into that test thinking, I know I'm going to fail it. It's out of my control, and so I'm just not even going to try. And so that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Of course, if you don't try, you're going to fail, right? That's learned helplessness. If you can unlearn that helplessness then what will happen is you'll fail a couple of tests and you'll think to yourself like, dang, those were way harder than I thought. I should have studied more. I'm going to work harder, study, and do my best to do better in the next test. And, you know, you'll probably at least do better in that circumstance than if you were to not try at all. That's the thing. We have to accept that maybe it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better. I promise you it's going to be better than if you just throw up your hands and say, like, it's out of my control. It's really, if you do that, of course you're going to be struggling with SI because you're not living your life. And how do you fix that? You start to live with intention and, you know, doing the best that you can and acknowledging the control that you have. So I think that's all I wanted to say in this video. It's kind of a quick one today. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. I don't know if I'm going to post this today or tomorrow. It's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving here. I don't care that much about Thanksgiving, to be honest. I don't really like Thanksgiving food. The whole background of that holiday is not my favorite, but it's a tradition, and you know, it's a chance to eat and visit with people if you have people to do that with. But I do have plans because I share my life with somebody that does have friends. So I am doing a Friendsgiving tomorrow, and I've got some stuff to make today. So I'm making this one a little bit short. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this, but happy Thanksgiving to those of you that celebrate. And if you spend the holiday alone, I'm low-key jealous a little bit. But, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. So, once again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your super, super nice supportive comments on the last one. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.